My wife admitted to having a drunken one-night stand last week and it has turned me into a robot. I, 32M, have been married to my wife Kate, 30F, for 4 years, and we've been together for 9. Our relationship has always been amazing, loving, supportive, and with great communication. We hardly ever argue, and our bedroom life has only improved over the years. We discussed cheating in the past, and I was always clear that if it ever happened, we would be over. Last weekend, Kate went home to visit her family, which is fairly normal. Before she left on Friday night, we had a minor argument about keeping the house tidy, so our communication was limited on Saturday. I knew she was going out to meet some friends at a bar, but I trusted her completely. Before I fell asleep, I texted her, saying that I hoped she had a nice night. When I woke up on Sunday morning, I saw a missed call from Kate at 4 a.m. I immediately called her to check if she was okay, but there was no answer. After a few hours, I tried calling again several times but still got no answer. Finally, around an hour later, I received a message saying she was fine and would be driving back soon. Kate got home late in the afternoon and looked awful. She had clearly been crying, wasn't wearing any makeup, unusual for her, and looked like a shell of a person. I knew right away something was wrong, but she wouldn't let me hug her and barely spoke. I sat her down on the couch and made her some tea. I gently encouraged her to tell me what was wrong, and she burst into uncontrollable tears for at least 10 minutes while I tried to comfort her. She then proceeded to tell me, stopping every few words, that she had slept with someone last night after the bar. At that moment, something in my brain broke. I can't describe it any other way. I immediately got up, jumped in my car, and drove off. I went to a park and walked around for about an hour. Kate was calling my phone constantly, but I turned it off. When I got home, I grabbed 2 suitcases from the garage, went to our bedroom, and threw some of Kate's clothes and shoes into them. I left them by the front door. Kate was lying on the floor in the living room, curled up into a ball sobbing. I called her best friend, who lives nearby, and told her that Kate needed a place to stay and a ride to her place, and that Kate could explain everything to her later. I told Kate I was leaving for an hour and that her friend was coming to pick her up. She grabbed onto my legs, trying to stop me from leaving. When I returned home again, Kate was gone, and so were the suitcases. On Monday, with a clearer head, I answered one of Kate's many calls and told her that I needed her to send me an email with as many details as possible of that night, and if she left anything out, there would be no hope of reconciliation. I received this email on Monday night but still haven't opened it. Since then, everyone has been trying to contact me, but I have just been working, exercising, and sleeping. One of her friends turned up at my house with an attitude, demanding an explanation. I told her to speak to Kate and closed the door in her face. I have also been speaking to divorce lawyers, moved money into separate accounts, and blocked Kate and all of her friends on everything. Everything I have done since I found out seems like I have been on autopilot. I don't feel angry, upset, or overly emotional, just numb. Kate posted a note through the door yesterday, asking me to meet tomorrow, but I'm conflicted. Should I meet her? Will it change anything? Is there any point in trying to reconcile? Is it normal to feel like a robot, and how do I snap out of this? Edit, just to add, when I came home the first time, Kate confirmed it was consensual. She was drunk but knew what she was doing. Relevant comments. Azerpa. You better read it, see if it was a blackout drunk night and she woke up not knowing where or how and her last memory was with a friend at the bar. Too bad the Terminator kicked in, so you could have called the friends she was with to gauge if they are covering for her. That's if she doesn't remember and she hasn't admitted to anything. What if it was non-consensual? Her waterworks didn't quell the fire. Obviously. OOP. She confirmed it was consensual. She was drunk but knew what she was doing. It was one of the only things I asked when I came home. I obviously asked her why, and she just kept wailing and crying. Update July 1st, 2024. After reading your comments, I decided to meet with Kate but not read the email. Kate came to the house yesterday, and when I opened the door, she looked terrible. She tried to hug me and started mumbling apologies, but I stopped her, and we sat down to talk. I started by telling Kate that I would be recording the audio of the conversation, and she agreed. I then asked her to explain what happened and told her that I haven't read the email she sent. Kate said she had been at the bar with two friends, I know and like both of them, and told me what she had to drink. I was surprised at how little she drank because it was the same amount we would normally drink when going for dinner, a few glasses of wine and a cocktail. She admitted she was only slightly tipsy. One of her friends, Sarah, has a younger brother, Max, 27M, who came to pick them up around midnight. It's a running joke in their group that Max has had a major crush on Kate since high school, and I had heard them joke about this. The four of them went to get some food, and Max then dropped each one off until it was just him and Kate. Kate said she didn't want him to drive the 20 minutes to her parents' place after working all day, so she would just order an Uber from his apartment. She went into his apartment to order the Uber but couldn't get one. Max suggested she should crash in his bed and he would take the sofa, then drop her off in the morning. Kate refused and continued to try to find an Uber. They were sitting on Max's bed, and he kissed her. She kissed him back, and they ended up having sex. After that, she broke down crying from guilt, and Max took her home. She cried for another hour, then tried to call me to tell me what she had done. We had to stop a number of times because Kate kept breaking down and crying hysterically. She told me it was a huge mistake, she got caught up in the moment, it was terrible, she only loves me, blah blah blah. After she was done, I told her that her story didn't make sense, but it didn't matter at this stage because I was done. This caused another breakdown. I told her I was going to continue with the divorce preparations, but for the next month, we would be separated with no contact. I also told her that we would both remain faithful, get a full STD panel, and she would tell our mutual friends and family what happened. If she sticks to these conditions, I would be willing to meet again to see if there was any way forward other than divorce. She enthusiastically agreed to this but made it clear that she did not expect me to stay faithful to her. I know many of you will criticize this decision, but I need to be sure that divorce is the right option after I have had time to process everything that has happened. I am still 99% sure that is where we are heading, but I need to be 100% certain. Relevant comments. Clear-headed 1. You should reach out to Sarah and ask for her side? Especially as if you decide to give your wife a chance, a mandatory requirement will be no contact with Max at all, and this, your wife has to accept, may mean the end of her friendship with Sarah if Sarah cannot accept her brother being persona non grata around your wife. And, somehow I get the feeling Sarah may have set this up? She no doubt is aware of her brother's feelings towards your wife and would love it if your wife and her brother became a couple. OOP. Thanks for the advice. My question is, does it even matter at this point? She cheated, maybe once, maybe 100 times, but even if Sarah is involved and Kate cuts her out completely, it doesn't change anything? Not being argumentative, just wondering if it's worth the extra digging. Update to July 8, 2024. A few things have happened in the last week, so I thought I would make an update post if anyone is interested. First of all, I'm not in robot mode anymore. I have been having bursts of intense feelings of anger and betrayal but have been keeping busy with work and exercise. My friends have also been great since they found out and have been dragging me out of the house to hang out. I decided to read the email and wish I hadn't. The story Kate told in the email was mostly the same, but there was no mention of going into Max's apartment to order an Uber. There were also pretty explicit details of what they did, for how long, and that they had apparently used a condom. I will never be able to forget this description. Many people who were originally criticizing me for kicking Kate out of the house have now apologized, but they can keep it. Kate's parents reached out to tell me that what happened isn't all Kate's fault, which really pissed me off. They have also been pressuring me to let Kate come back to the house, but I shut that down quickly. I have been meeting with divorce lawyers and will soon make a decision on who to go with. All the lawyers have recommended I stay separated for a while before making a final decision. Kate has been mostly adhering to the no contact rule, but she did text a picture of us together from a few years ago and a long, sappy message. I ignored it and will be talking to her about keeping the no contact rule. The amount of support I have gotten from all of you has been amazing. It has been really helpful to hear from people who have been through the same thing and come out the other side. Thank you all. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.